Good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is, everyone. Hi there, Ashley from Publication Services. Since it's, well, the day before Halloween when I record this, and maybe the day before when I upload it. Anyway, since it's Halloween today / tomorrow, depending when you view this, I thought I'd discuss some ghostly going-ons over the years here at ERS. Now, no, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the company's haunted, that we've got haunted vans or anything, but we have had the odd, hard to explain incident over the years. Not many, but a few, and I thought I'd mention some. So, firstly, I'll start off with one that's easier to explain to me personally. Many years ago, York Castle Museum, as you probably know, is built within the old courthouse, but we want to sell Fenton eerie presence. Probably just my mind playing tricks. As I say, that's why I started with that one, an easy one to explain away. Next, while I'm still talking about York, again, a fair few years ago, not as many as the first tale, but anyway, we were loading from beside Merchant Adventurers Hall, if I recall the building's name properly. Anyway, the Guildhall thing. That's centuries old. And the house beside it wasn't as old, but anyway, walking down the passage, and I asked the person with me and the other person with us whether they'd been behind me. They hadn't. And the position I was in, it was impossible for someone to have been behind me without me being able to see them, but I felt like, as I was carrying some boxes out to the van, there was someone behind me. Didn't feel eerie or spooky, it just was what it was. But there have been 2 or 3 other more spooky ones. Years ago again, one was photographing some stock, and well, she didn't see anything at the time, but when she uploaded the photo from the camera to the computer, this is 8-9 years ago, maybe more now. Anyway, the smoke appeared to form into the shape of, she says it looked like a demon, I say a ghost, but other people had seen the photo and saw various different things in, including the shapes of babies and things, but the smoke appeared to be human, and she said it left her an eerie feeling, and feeling like she had to fight against something for quite a few weeks, I think is what she said. Anyway, I'm not sure if I mentioned that one before in last year's blog, which is a continuation of and based off. And anyway, on to what I definitely did mention in last year's blog, the haunted tree. So anyway, we had a tree on board. It was a part of a bigger load, and unfortunately, for reasons, it had to come back to the depot and be left there for a few weeks before we could move it forward. Anyway, the tree seemed haunted. I mean, maybe it was mind playing tricks, maybe it wasn't. Initially when we loaded it, and then we didn't know this customer's deceased husband's ashes were in it until quite a while after. Anyway, I recall seeing in the corner it had been left sat in the shape of a little old man a few times. Probably mind playing tricks, right? Anyway, when the tree was on its way back to the customer, this is where the stranger stuff happens. Whenever we tried to ring the van and speak to Dad, who was driving, and vice versa, on hands-free, of course, if the Frontware spirit was mentioned, suddenly the phone would be staticky. Cut out. Phone calls that weren't made showed up on his phone, and vice versa. Calls that he tried to make couldn't be made and stuff whenever the thing was the topic of conversation. Anyway, probably explainable bad signal, you're right. Maybe not. You add them all up. Not a day earlier. Earlier in the same day, one of the rooms that some stock was being stored in, customers' belongings were being stored in. I misremembered there. What the belongings, what items were, that's all. The door became jammed. So I went around to the window to look in the room. Nothing was blocking the door. Nothing. Seriously, not a thing. The mechanism wasn't jammed, nothing. Tried to open the door, could not. And it genuinely felt like it was fighting against me. So I gave up, went again to the window to see if again something could fall against it. Again, it hadn't. So after about a few minutes of fighting to try to get this door open, I, not flippantly, but I said, look, if something's holding this door, the items in this room are not connected to the tree. They're not connected to you. And after that was said, the door, we could get in. Seriously. So, went in again, checked. Nothing had fallen, nothing shifted. Everything was exactly where it was, and there was no reason. I said the door couldn't open. As I said, it felt like something was fighting against. That night, it really ramped itself up. At one point, I had to pull Mum out of the bathroom. I felt like there was something in there. Again, mind playing tricks, probably. A minute or two later, thinking nothing of it myself, I went into the bathroom. Now, I'm open-minded, but not as open-minded on that as others. I felt like there was something stood in that room with me. I was going in to use the toilet, and that didn't matter. I just got out. Went to grab salt, drew a religious symbol, and even put Charlie's ashes there as a talisman, protection. Probably. And I'm not mega religious, don't believe or disbelieve, but I even had to read the Lord's Prayer. Throughout that night, whatever it was with the van, and also with us, it seemed. it also seemed like in some ways there was also the spirit of the deceased husband and something else there. It got to such a point Dad had to, the next day, go to a priest, and the priest to bless the van. He stayed with Auntie was big into spiritual stuff, or ex-auntie, I suppose she's technical by that point, and she said behind to him, "You're not staying." Not to him. She said she could see whatever the hell this thing was behind him. So yeah. There were other few stranger incidents, like several items he'd put in the back of the van, rubbish and stuff, to dispose of later, vanished, even though the van doors had been secured and the van had been moving between him, putting him in there, and he opened it to get him out. And he said there was an eerie feeling throughout until he got that tree gone. He had to get the van blessed and all sorts. And just so until he'd done that, it didn't feel right, apparently. So yeah, there are a few more spooky incidents. I've re-mentioned the haunted tree, and I think, to be honest, I've gone into more detail than I did on last year's version of this. Well, versions of it, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I'd love to hear any else in the rural sector or transport sectors experiences in spooky things. Drop a comment, or anyone else's for that matter. Thanks for your time, everyone. Bye for now.